What's up, guys? It's MWT, and guess what? We are back with another video. This is NBA Playoff Predictions 2019. Now, guess what? I need you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment what you want to see next, and obviously get ready for the promo of the Top 100 Lists series. That's going to be 10 videos long. It's going to be a huge series, and it's going to be very important to me. So make sure you guys get out there and do that. And now, we ready to do this. Now, considering I'm taking probably injuries into account here in the first series, because I don't know what's going to happen later on in the playoffs, let's do it. Let us do it. Now, we're going to go in order of how they appear. So first will be Brooklyn versus Philadelphia, right? Embiid is doubtful for tonight. So, considering everything that has happened for Brooklyn this year, I'm going to give them game 1 in Philadelphia, because Embiid is doubtful tonight. However, Philadelphia will win Game 2, and they'll win Game 3. Now, the question is, do you let Brooklyn win Game 4 to advance the series? Now, remember, in head-to-head, they were 2-2 against Philadelphia. But Philadelphia obviously holds the advantage, home court advantage. I'm going to give Brooklyn Game 4, but Philadelphia will win the series in 6 games. So, that will be that. Philadelphia versus Brooklyn will end up being Philadelphia wins in 6 games. Now, if you don't know what I do this on, it is playoffpredictors.com. It's a website that allows you to basically go ahead and make your own predictions on what you feel is going to happen throughout the season. They have football, basketball, like all the seasons also prior, like I believe 4 of them or 5. And you can also look at baseball predictions. So, go ahead and check that out if you want to make your own predictions before the season starts in an hour or about 39 minutes, because I'm recording this right now. But anyways, let us move on. Toronto versus Orlando. This is a very important series for Toronto. I believe Kawhi Leonard is going to be on tonight, so I'll give Toronto the first 2 games. They'll win the 3rd game in Orlando, but Orlando will win the 4th game. Now, Toronto will win the series in 5 games, maybe 6, but I'm going to say for right now they're going to win the series in 5 games. I believe, this will be a great, series kind of to see how it goes, because this could really decide what Kawhi Leonard does in the offseason. He might go to the Clippers. Yeah. Or he might stay in Toronto. If Toronto makes the Eastern Conference Finals or goes to the NBA Finals somehow, they're going to keep Kawhi Leonard. Okay, now, Golden State versus the Clippers. Very important game, the first game. Golden State will win. Now, obviously, home crowd will also help, so Golden State will win Game 2. The Clippers will win Game 3, but Golden State will win the series in 5 games, and they'll move on, because that's what I think is going to happen. Now, next is San Antonio versus Denver. We're in the Mile High City for the first 2 games. Wow, I'm giving Denver the first 2 games of the series. Now, congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs, making that many playoff berths in a row. They tied the Philadelphia 76ers record for most playoff berths in a row. And, congratulations to Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs organization for doing that. Now, I'm going to make my prediction for next season. The Spurs will be back in the playoffs one last time. And I believe if they do that, Greg Popovich will be happy. It'll be like, I finally did something that has never been done before. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to give San Antonio the 3rd game, but Denver will win the 4th game. Now, this is really important right here. San Antonio will win Game 5, but Denver will win Game 6, so it'll be a 6-game series, and that's kind of all she wrote. Now, here is the next series. Boston versus Indiana. That'll obviously start on Sunday. So, here we go. Boston will win the first 2 games because of home crowd. And plus, even though they're going to miss one of their defensive stars in Marcus Smart, they'll still have the firepower to put something out there. So, but now This is kind of what I believe is going to happen. Indiana will win Game 3 and 4, and Boston will close out the series in 6 games. They'll win the game in Boston, Game 5, and they'll win Game 6 in Indiana. I just read on the news Indiana's preparing for a 25-year extension in Indiana. The Pacers are going to do that, so good job to them. They're going to have a new kind of like layout, renovation of the building. So good job for you guys. And they're preparing for the All-Star game in 2022, I want to say. Also, yeah, All-Star games in Chicago next year. I don't think I'll be able to go, but who knows? Tickets are really expensive. Now, next series is Portland versus OKC. As a delusional Lakers fan once said that is bandwagoning on the OKC Thunder, OSN basically said the OKC Thunder are going to make the Western Conference Finals. This was the same man that said at the beginning of the season, the regular season, we'll go all the way back to October, all the way back to September, August. He said the Lakers are going to make the Western Conference Finals. Oh, man. When you give somebody so much money, man, they become too delusional. I'm just going to say that right now. And obviously, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. And rest in peace, the Lakers season. Now, Portland will win the first game. OKC is going to win Game 2. Now, we're going to Oklahoma City, right? OKC is going to win Game 3. Portland's going to win in 6 games. That's all I'm saying. Portland's going to win the series in 6 games. All right? OKC is going to leave with another heartbreaking first playoff elimination, as they always do. And Paul George is still going to stay with OKC, obviously. So, yeah. Wait, what? This just in. The Lakers are not going to make the playoffs next year. Sorry about that. I just had to say that. I had to get that out there. Now, this is the game to watch. This is the series to watch right here. Milwaukee versus Detroit. Man, this is going to be fun. We're in the Pfizer Forum. We're going to be watching Giannis and the Bucks 60-22 against the Detroit Pistons. I mean, congrats to the Detroit Pistons, man. You guys, incredible year. You know, Dwayne Casey coming in and changing that locker room. You know, I think, we might have a good series right here. Yeah, Milwaukee's going to win the first 2 games. Milwaukee's going to win the 3rd game in Detroit. Detroit's going to win Game 4. But Milwaukee's going to close out the series in 5 games, and that's it. Now, last series to cover in the first round, Houston versus Utah. Oh, we got a matchup again. Now, remember what happened last year. Houston was the first seed, and they had to go up against Utah, who had just defeated the OKC Thunder in the first round. And it's the second round, right? Houston beat Utah in that series. But remember, Houston can disappear sometimes in the Western Conference Finals. They can disappear sometimes in the playoffs. How do you miss that many three-pointers? And they just set the record this year for 27 three-pointers. So, yeah, if only you can do that in the playoffs. Anyways, I forgot to say this one thing. Harden is going to be runner-up. Giannis is going to win the MVP. Don't at me. I'm just saying. All right, Giannis is the MVP. Now, and also Budenholzer just won Coach of the Year, apparently. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. Now, we're in Houston for the first 2 games, right? So, Houston's obviously going to take the first 2 games. We're going to have a series right here. Utah is going to take Game 3. Houston's going to take Game 4. Utah's going to take Game 5. Now, who wins Game 6 in Utah? I'm going with Houston. Oops, sorry about that. But that will be the first round. So, if you're counting at home, we're going to move on to round 2. Basically, the conference semifinals in each of the conferences, respectively. Milwaukee versus Boston. Toronto versus Philly. Denver versus Portland, and Golden State versus Houston. Oh man, we got a matchup right here. Now, I'm obviously going to start with Toronto versus Philly and go to Denver versus Portland next. And I'll go Milwaukee versus Boston and Golden State versus Houston. Now, Toronto versus Philly. This is going to be an interesting series, huh? Now, I think that the team with the better defense, it's actually going to be a tie between defense on who's got better defense right here. So it comes down to offensive firepower. So the first game is going to Toronto, but the second game is going to Philadelphia. Now, we're heading back to Philadelphia for the next two games, right? Now, Philly will win Game 3, but Toronto will win Game 4 in Philadelphia. Now, Game 5, Toronto is going to win. This series in Game 6 is very important to Philadelphia. So, Philly will win Game 6. Now, Game 7 is going to be really tough. But, I'm going to say right now, if Kawhi Leonard plays this entire series and he shows out that what he has, I'm actually going to take Toronto in 7 games. Now, don't at me on this, but that's what I believe. Some people believe that Philly is the best starting 5 in the NBA. They have the best starting 5. But honestly, Golden State's got the best starting 5. But they have the second best starting 5. It all comes down to whether their players can stay healthy and whether Ben Simmons can show out and start making jump shots. That's what's really important for them right now because Ben Simmons, not that good of a jump shot. But he's got to work on it. But I think that's going to be their Achilles heel in the conference semifinals. And Toronto will take the series in 7 games. Now, Denver versus Portland is an interesting matchup. Some people said that Portland's going to win the NBA Finals. Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith. Yeah, you people are crazy. Denver's going to win in the Mile High on Game 1, right? And Portland's going to win Game 2, though. Now, with the firepower that Denver has, they're going to win the next 3 games and close out Portland in 5 games. That's how confident I am that Denver's going to reach the conference finals. That's how confident I am. Now, everybody remembers last year in the first round, right? In the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee versus Boston. That was a different story, though. That's because I believe Boston was the 2nd seed and Milwaukee was the 7th seed. And that game still went to 7. Which is incredible. But Brogdon, I believe, is going to be back. Marcus Smart is probably going to be back, or maybe not. He might miss the first 2 rounds. But Brogdon's going to be back. So, Milwaukee's going to take the first 2 games, right? Boston's going to take the next 2 games. So it's going to be 2 and 2. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Because these games are kind of a little bit important. As always. Milwaukee's going to win Game 5. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to 7. I'm saying it's going to be in 6. Milwaukee in 6. But I would not be surprised if this series went to 7 games. And even if it did, let's say it did went to 7 games. Milwaukee would still win in 7 games. But I'm just saying right now, this Milwaukee versus Boston Celtics conference semifinal matchup is going to be incredible. This is going to be a bloodbath. Each of these teams, Giannis is going to play his heart out. Kyrie Irving's going to play his heart out. You got Chris Middleton is going to be draining buckets from behind the 3-point line, man. We'll see how this series goes, but I'm saying Milwaukee in 6. Now, the rematch of the conference finals from last year, Golden State versus Houston. Now, I believe Houston had home court advantage last year. So, Golden State has home court advantage. They'll take Game 1. Houston will take Game 2. But we're going back to Houston for the next 2 games. So, honestly, Houston will take Game 3, but Golden State's going to take the next 2 games and go up 3-2. Now, this is the same situation Houston was in last year. They were up 3-2, but they couldn't close it out in the last 2 games. Houston will win Game 6, and the series will be 3-3. But Golden State's going to win at home and go to the conference finals. So, as you're probably reading, yes, that's true. The conference finals will be basically the top two teams of each conference facing each other. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to obviously start with Golden State. Golden State versus Denver is going to be a great series. Not only is this, out of nowhere for Denver, but, man, this is going to be fun to watch. I'm probably going to be streaming these games just to, I want to stream the playoffs at some point. But I believe my streams were hit. So we'll see how that turns out. But for right now, actually I'm checking my channel right now. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Wow, Denver versus Golden State. Okay, I'm going to take Golden State in 6 games. Golden State will win in 6 games. But this matchup's going to be really cool. Wow. So yeah, I'll take Golden State in 6 games, and now we move to Milwaukee versus Toronto. Oh boy, we got a fun matchup right here. Now, Milwaukee wins game 1. Toronto wins game 2. Toronto wins game 3. Milwaukee in 6. Milwaukee will win game 4, 5, and 6. So, yes, we got a matchup right here in the NBA Finals as part of my prediction. I did not predict this initially because I think I said Golden State versus, who did I say, Boston? Damn close. It could be Boston if that Milwaukee series turns out the other way. It could be Boston, but it's Milwaukee versus Golden State. Now, we got 21 minutes until the playoffs starts, so I got to make this quick. Milwaukee with the best record. They've beaten Golden State. Let me go into their statistics right here, right now. They beat Golden State the first time around, and Golden State beat them the second time. Did they play a third game is the question. I believe I would know if they did. I just don't remember. I don't think they did, no. Okay. So, this series is kind of going to be close then. But Milwaukee will win game 1. Milwaukee will win game 2. Golden State's going to win game 3 and 4. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are we really going to do all home victories? No, honestly not. Milwaukee in 6 games. Your NBA champions will be the Milwaukee Bucks for the dub. Honestly, I would like to see the Warriors win the last championship. I believe they have it in them to win the last championship of the dynasty. They could win 4 in 5 years. They could win 3 in the last 3 years. They could do what LeBron hasn't done. Get a three-peat. And what would that mean? That would mean Curry would have 4 rings and Durant will have 3 rings. So is Curry the GOAT since everybody's saying LeBron's the GOAT? Oh wait, the players don't agree. The players said, 73% said Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And 11%, about 12% said LeBron is, and 11% said Kobe is. Are you kidding me? And this man said, after the 2016 NBA Finals, that made me the GOAT. No player who was ever considered to be the GOAT of the NBA in history has ever said that they were the GOAT. Michael Jordan never said it. Kobe never said it. Wilt never said it. Bill Russell never said it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never said it, and neither did Magic Johnson. But this man thinks he has the guts with a 3-6 record to say... Sorry, I went a little bit on a rampage right there. That'll be the end of the video. Sorry about that rant. But Milwaukee will win in 6. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be Finals MVP, and he'll win the regular season MVP. Paul George, I believe, is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Luka Doncic, Rookie of the Year. Most Improved Player is going to be Pascal Siakam. Sixth Man of the Year, Lou Williams. Coach of the Year, Mike Budenholzer. Don't at me on that. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm out of here. Peace, guys.